In a universe woven with fate and forbidden love, retired space trooper Niko Jastor's idyllic life shatters when he rescues a shimmering alien princess named Cilia. As danger looms from her ruthless uncle, Niko is drawn into a perilous conflict that could change their worlds forever. What price will he pay to protect a love that challenges destiny? Don't forget to subscribe. 91% of viewers enjoy our content but forget to hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you'll stay up to date with our daily sci-fi stories and support a dedicated team of storytellers and content creators who rely on this as their livelihood. As the first rays of sunlight painted the surface of the tranquil waters of Aquaria Prime with golden hues, Niko Jastor stood on the shore, his silhouette cast against the rising day. He was a rugged man in his early 40s, his tanned skin rippling with the scars of battles past. His dark hair, flecked with silver, hung loosely, and beneath a rugged exterior lay a heart that had long surrendered to the call of the ocean waves. A longing for peace after years spent as a space trooper fighting countless wars across distant galaxies. This picturesque retreat, fringed with iridescent shells and multicolored coral formations, seemed to whisper promises of solace. Niko cast his fishing net with deft movements, the memory of his days of glory like fading echoes in his mind. Each catch reminded him of the thrill of the hunt, yet now he sought only sustenance from the sea. The tranquil sounds of Aquaria Prime's gentle surf stirred a deep contentment within him, momentarily easing the weight of his past. He imagined himself as just another fisherman, partaking in the simple joys of life. Even here, beneath the two suns that hovered benignly in the azure sky, the shadows of his memories lingered, retreating but never fully leaving. As he began to reel in his net, a sudden violent tug jolted him from his reverie. Confusion mingled with curiosity as he squinted against the sun's rays, straining to see what had caught his net. Muscles tensed, heart racing, he pulled the net ashore and felt his breath hitch. Entangled within was not a simple catch for his dinner, but an astonishingly beautiful alien creature. Her skin shimmered in shades of blue that mirrored the depths of the ocean, and those iridescent scales glistened under the sunlight like beacons of a forgotten world. "Help me," she gasped, her voice a gentle melody that resonated deep within Niko's heart, striking against the chords of something long dormant in his soul. "Who are you?" he managed to ask, his protective instincts kicking in as he knelt beside her, careful in his movements, disentangling the net from around her delicate body. She blinked up at him, eyes wide with wonder and an undercurrent of fear swirling in the depths of her gaze. "I'm Cilia, a traveler from the stars," she whispered, and a smile broke through her anxious demeanor that lit up her face, revealing tiny luminescent freckles dotted across her cheeks. In that moment, as he locked eyes with her, something ethereal and profound intertwined their paths, sending tremors through Niko's being. A warmth spread through him, awakening emotions he believed he had buried forever under layers of guilt and grief. Niko inhaled deeply, the salty ocean air filling his lungs as he surveyed the coastline, ensuring no one else was watching this unexpected meeting. "What brings you to this remote planet?" he asked, curiosity lacing his voice. Cilia's expression turned somber as she looked away, her vibrant gaze drifting to the horizon, where the two suns cast long shadows across rolling waves. "I'm fleeing," she spoke, each word weighed down by a narrative he could only begin to fathom. "My people are in danger, and her voice trailed off, burdened by unshed sorrow. She shivered, not from cold but from the haunting despair of leaving everything behind, a crown, a home, perhaps even a destiny. Days turned into weeks as the sun embraced Aquaria Prime's azure waters, and in that tranquil haven, Niko and Cilia crafted their fragile universe. Each night brought a tapestry of stars decorating the indigo sky, their shared laughter mingling with the ocean's melodies. The depth of their connection grew in contagious warmth, each conversation unearthing layers of their souls. Yet, underneath this serene veneer lay the storm cloud of impending danger, lurking in the recesses of Cilia's heart. One evening, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the cliffside in a haze of orange and crimson. Perched there, Cilia's laughter faded, entwined with a haunting tremor that sent shivers down Niko's spine. "Niko, there's something you need to know." Her voice dropped, the gravity of her words wrapping around him like chains. He noticed the glint in her sea-blue eyes had dulled, veiled in shadows of a troublesome past. "What is it?" Niko asked, the gentle breeze whispering caution and concern. Niko's brow furrowed, sensing a foreboding weight hanging in the air, threading their fates tighter together. "I am a princess, the rightful heir to my planet, fleeing from my ruthless uncle, Zayden. His assassins are relentless, and they know I'm here," she confessed, the tremor deepening in her voice. "They will stop at nothing to retrieve me." The weight of her confession hung heavily between them, electrifying the moment. It felt as if the universe itself had paused to draw breath. Niko's heart raced, the implications of her words wrapping around him like thorns. He could see a flicker of fear in her expression, but it was overshadowed by an unwavering determination that called to him, igniting a fierce protectiveness within. "Cilia," he said, his voice firm but soft, "you are safe here. I won't let them take you." He stood taller, fueled by an inexplicable courage. She searched his gaze, and in that silent exchange, they began to understand the power of their bond. Just as Cilia finished her solemn tale, the air turned thick with a foreboding hum. The tranquil soundscape of the evening was torn apart as a ship, dark and ominous, descended toward the shoreline, blotting out the verdant hues of twilight. "We have to go, now." Niko's body surged with urgency. Niko felt the chilling pulse of adrenalized fear coursing through him, urging him to sprint into unseen horizons. He clasped Cilia's hand with a fierce grip, ready to protect her. Together they dashed down the rocky path, the crunching stones beneath their feet echoing their desperation, blending with the thrumming of Zayden's ship as it settled ominously nearby. The silhouette of the vessel emerged, sleek and fearsome against the coral backdrop of the shore. Its hull glittered with venomous black and crimson accents, a ghastly omen of the evil desires it harbored within. As they reached the safety of an alcove in the cliffs, Niko turned to Cilia, his mind churning with conflicting thoughts. "What now?" "Meet me at the ridge, towards the sacred pool," Cilia murmured, drawing little solace from the aerial menace above. Her conviction echoed, a promise of resolve, as they parted briefly under the pressing weight of uncertainty. With their hearts racing like twin stars colliding in the expanse of the cosmos, Niko made his way to the hidden sanctuary Cilia had mentioned. The sacred pool was a fabled spot revered by the local inhabitants, a nest of power believed to connect the elements of Aquaria Prime. Niko found the pool shimmering under the moonlight, framed by ethereal flora that whispered ancient secrets. The air was imbued with the scent of brine and blossoms, merging harmoniously in a dance of nature. Just as he took a moment to breathe, a soft splash broke the silence, causing him to spin on his heels. Emerging from the azure depths was Cilia, her beauty magnified by the glowing waters that cascaded off her. The moonlight played along her skin like the gentle caress of 1,000 stars, illuminating her figure in a halo of luminescence. His heart swelled with longing, yet anxiety simmered just beneath the surface. "Did you see them?" she asked, cutting through his reverie. Niko shook his head, a rush of relief washing over him, though fear lingered like a storm cloud at the edge of their world. "Not yet, but they won't stop," he said, realizing the depths of their peril. Their bond was forged in danger, and they were already fighting against the tides of fate. It's not just their physical presence we have to conquer, Cilia started, her voice turning resolute. There are powers greater than us at play. My uncle's will, the dark embrace of his empire, infests the hearts of those who serve him. With renewed warmth enveloping them, Cilia revealed her latent powers, prompting waves of aqua blue energy to ripple around her hands. I have the ability to manipulate water, to harness the elemental force of my home. But as strong as it is, I need more, something more intricate than raw magic. Her eyes brimming with hope, she looked deep into Niko's gaze. I need you, Niko. Together, we can forge something beautiful from this chaos. His heart ignited. Niko felt the fierce intensity of Cilia's spirit enveloping him like a firestorm. I won't let them take you, he promised, sealing a newfound alliance through words spoken under the foreboding shadows of an uncertain night. Their hands entwined, the glow of their connection hung palpably in the humid night air. Days turned into a whirlwind of planning and practice. Navigating the complexities of Cilia's powers was challenging for Niko, yet each session deepened their bond. The sacred pool became their sanctuary, a place where the fabric of their destinies intertwined. One sweltering afternoon, as they submerged into the waters to practice, Cilia unleashed a powerful torrent, coiling it around Niko like a serpent born of liquid light. Harness the force, Niko. Feel its rhythm. We are one, willed by the elements, she encouraged, her voice breaking into an ecstatic crescendo that echoed through the verdant enclave. Niko closed his eyes, embracing the flow of water, its currents dancing against his skin. In that moment, the world transformed. He was not just a former soldier lost in memories, he was part of something greater. They spun and twirled like celestial bodies caught in the rhythm of the universe, guided by the soft hum of the sacred elements. Yet, as the days unfolded in this enchanted cocoon, whispers of doubt began to seep into Niko's consciousness. In the stillness of the twilight hours, as the sun cast its vibrant hues upon the horizon, Niko Jastor found himself submerged in an intense resolve. Days had turned into a blur of preparation, strategizing ways to safeguard Cilia from the looming threat of her uncle, Zayden, and the fleet of assassins that prowled like wolves in the dark. The idyllic peace of Aquaria Prime had been tainted, replaced by an urgency that gripped his heart. I won't let them take you, he vowed, his voice firm, conviction blazing in his eyes as he gazed into Cilia's azure depths that shimmered with both fear and determination. Cilia, standing before him, emanated an otherworldly grace, her hair flowing like liquid silver, catching the light of the dying day. I am more powerful than I ever realized, Niko, she replied, her voice laced with a daring confidence that took him by surprise. As they trained under the deepening sky, the water around them became a living entity, obeying her call, twisting and turning with the grace of a dancer. Waves surged in rhythm to her commands, each splash a testament to her innate power. Show me again, Niko encouraged, his heart swelling with admiration as he watched her weave fluid patterns, the water swirling around her in ethereal shapes. Cilia extended her hands, and suddenly, a spiral of mist formed into intricate creatures, shimmering with the light of the sunset. They glided through the air with a beauty that left him breathless. We can fight together, she said, her gaze unwavering. Your strength combined with my abilities is our only chance. Their days were consumed by rigorous training. Sweat mingled with salt water as they pushed their limits. Zayden's impending menace loomed heavy over them, but within the confines of their makeshift training ground, laughter echoed, brightening the shadows that crept around their hearts. Niko learned to harness his fear, letting it transform into fierce determination. Every time his heart raced, he found solace in the weight of Cilia's presence by his side. They became partners in every sense, each day, The bond between them deepened, their hearts sinking like the tides of the ocean that embraced their sanctuary. Yet, as the stars began to pierce the canvas of the night sky, unease gripped Niko's soul. The rage he felt towards Xaden intensified. He hadn't just fallen for a princess, he had embraced a fierce warrior. But could a mere space trooper truly protect a royal heir from the clutches of an empire? Doubt gnawed at the edges of his confidence like a relentless tide. "What if I fail?" he asked one night, their silhouettes framed against the moonlit water. Cilia turned to him, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that fired his spirit. "You won't fail," she said decisively. "You are stronger than you know. This is not just about me, it's about our worlds and the lives we can touch. Our love gives us strength, Niko. Together, we can do the impossible." As the days turned to nights, the vibrant landscapes of Aquaria Prime continued to bathe in beauty, but their safety dwindled. Cilia's determination turned to apprehension as whispers of Xaden's imminent arrival reached their ears. Shadows lengthened across their days, casting a pall of dread as they prepared. Niko forged weapons from the remnants of his old life as a trooper, crude yet functional, grounded in practicality. He scavenged the remnants of ancient technologies, piecing together gadgets that resonated with the lore of Aquaria Prime. One evening, they stood at the edge of the cliffs, surveying the vast expanse of ocean, waves crashing against the rocky shores, cascading sprays of saltwater enveloping them. "This is where I will protect you," Niko declared, a thrill of defiance surging within him. The wind whipped around them as he placed a hand protectively on her shoulder. "They will come for you, we will be ready." Cilia looked at him, her expression interlaced with gratitude and affection. "Thank you, Niko, for believing in me, for believing in us." Their lips met in a fleeting kiss, the spark igniting passion mixed with anxiety as a surge of energy crackled between them, bound by their shared mission. Then, like the darkest omen, the day arrived. Clouds gathered ominously over the horizon, blotting out the sun as Xaden's assassins descended upon them, a fleet of ships piercing the sky, their engines growling with malicious intent. The urgency of their training transformed into action, the air thick with adrenaline. Niko's heart thundered in his chest as he turned to Cilia, drawing her close. "Stay by my side, no matter what happens," he urged, eyes scanning the incoming threat. "Always," Cilia replied, steeling herself for battle. The night was alive with chaos, the once tranquil shores erupting into a battleground. Glimmering energy blades clashed against the crude metal of Niko's weaponry, sparks dancing like stars in the darkness. Each attacker bore the emblem of Xaden, a blight upon the sands of Aquaria Prime. Niko fought valiantly, protecting Cilia with every ounce of ferocity his body could muster. "Move!" he shouted as an assassin lunged at them, only to be met with the swift fury of Cilia's water manipulation, thwarting his advance with a wall of swirling currents. The water crashed against their assailant with an exhilarating force, knocking him off balance. Pulses of light flashed in the night as Cilia wielded her powers with finesse, commanding the waters like a tempest. Yet, danger lurked ominously close. Niko felt a sharp jab of pain in his side as an energy blade grazed him, the world around him tipping into a blurred haze. He stumbled, collapsing onto the deck of their rickety boat. "Cilia!" he yelled, panic surging through him like electricity. She turned, terror etched across her features as she rushed to his side, cradling him in her arms. "Stay with me, you can't leave me." Her voice was a lifeline, tethering him to the present, reminding him of their love, their fight, and the world that awaited them beyond the darkness. It was in that moment of desperation, feeling the warmth of her touch, that he gathered the remnants of his energy. Determination fueled by love surged through him. "You need to fight," he gasped, summoning every ounce of willpower to push through the pain. fight for us." With unwavering strength, Cilia rose from her despair, the fierce light in her eyes rekindled. Drawing upon the might of the ocean itself, she called upon waves that surged with an explosive ferocity, unleashing a torrent against their enemies. The calm before the storm shattered abruptly. Underneath the stars, chaos erupted as Zayden's assassins descended upon them, emerging from the shadows wielding weapons silhouetted against the moonlight. The scene unfolded like a nightmare. Figures cloaked in dark armor, their eyes glimmering with sinister intent. Niko's heart pounded furiously as he felt time stretching thin. Suddenly, his mundane life was swept aside as reality transformed into a visceral battleground. He could almost hear the breaths of his ancestors, urging him forward. "Protect yourself, Cilia," he shouted, dashing forward to confront their attackers. The air crackled with tension, charged by an inexplicable energy that thrummed through his veins. He could see Cilia, her silhouette framed by the moonlight, drawing upon her powers instead of succumbing to fear. The deep blue of the ocean behind them reflected her swirling emotions. A whirring sound filled the air as an assassin lunged with an energy blade, glinting malevolently. Niko dodged narrowly but felt the rush of air against his skin. They were exceptionally fast, trained and ruthless. From his peripheral vision, he caught a glimpse of Cilia, her eyes ablaze with panic but her body poised with lethal elegance as she conjured waves from the depths. "Niko," she cried, eyes wide as desperation painted her features. In that moment, their bond forged in laughter and contemplation turned into a weapon in itself. Niko's instincts took over. "Let's show them what we're made of," he roared, the depth of his voice echoing into the night. He thrust his fists forward, his own training as a space trooper rising to the surface. In the struggle, a sharp pain pierced Niko's side as an assassin struck him with the energy blade. It felt as though fire had breached his skin, collapsing him onto the deck of their rickety boat. Cool metal against warm wood was a harsh contrast as he fell, staring up at the stars. "Stay with me, you can't leave me." Cilia's voice jolted him awake, a lifeline tethering him to consciousness. Panic laced her words, but within them lingered a fierce determination that lit a fire in his chest. "Cilia," he managed to whisper, his voice cracking with agony. The darkness threatened to consume him as waves of pain radiated from his injury, leaving his body weak. Yet in the depths of his struggle, he felt an ethereal connection pulsing between them. A flicker of hope sparked within him, igniting the embers of his fighting spirit. Drawing upon every ounce of willpower, Niko pushed through the haze of pain. Cilia, her spirit unyielding, seemed to channel the ancient powers of her ancestry. She moved gracefully, her movements fluid as she summoned the energy of the ocean around them. Spiraling waves leapt from her fingertips, clashing against the assassins with an awe-inspiring display of power and resolve. A destructive whirlpool formed, pulling the cloaked figures towards its depths. They fought like creatures of the deep, feral and unrestrained. With newfound strength, Niko struggled to his feet, bracing himself against the boat's side. The sight of Cilia's glowing aura rejuvenated him. There, amidst the chaos, he found his footing. The fusion of their strengths became evident as their beings intertwined like strands of light cutting through darkness. Together, they fought like never before, crafted from their shared fears, hopes, and the unshakable bond that tethered their fates. As they pushed back against the relentless tide of enemies, Niko called upon memories of battles fought alongside comrades, echoed warnings from his past that had submerged beneath his desire for a simple life. He adapted fluidly, using his own combat training to stay alive. He rotated, kicked, and punched, driven by the instinct to protect the one who had stolen his heart. A fierce shout erupted from him as he shoulder-checked an assassin, sending the figure sprawling against the boat's railing. Cilia's powers converged in remarkable synchronization with Niko's physical prowess. All around them, water danced, splashing, twisting, and crashing against their foes. Niko glanced at her. Her expression was fierce, an amalgamation of vulnerability and strength. Together, she shouted, summoning waves that glimmered with a radiant luminescence while surrounding him with a protective barrier. Like clockwork, they coordinated their movements. As Niko advanced, Cilia's water shields absorbed blaster shots and deflected blades. The assassins began to falter, encircled by a relentless onslaught that seemed to stem from their most buried fears, a rebellion against the darkness that threatened to engulf not just Cilia but entire worlds. But notwithstanding their success, shadows loomed in the distance. Among the chaos, a familiar figure cut through the fray. Xaden himself, draped in dark robes that billowed ominously. His presence was magnetic, a dark energy radiating that sent chills through the air. "Fools, do you think you can escape my grip?" he bellowed, the words echoing like thunder across the night sky. Niko's breath caught in his throat as rage coursed through him, mingling with pain. Xaden's silhouette was a dark star overshadowing hope, and Niko felt as though he was being unraveled from the inside out. "We will not bow to you," he yelled, defiance igniting within him like wildfire. Cilia met his gaze, sharing a moment of silent understanding. They both knew the battle wasn't merely about survival, it was about liberation. She nodded, the determination within them solidifying into an unbreakable bond fueled by a shared mission. Blinding light sparked in her eyes as she prepared to unleash further potential she had yet to explore. Around them, the remaining assassins hesitated, uncertainty creeping into their ranks as darkness shifted. The tide of battle was unpredictable, and in that moment, hope glimmered brighter than it had moments before. Niko braced himself for the incoming clash. The air crackled with energy as Xaden glared down at them. "You will all face annihilation," he proclaimed, raising his own hand, a dark storm swirling between his fingers. Time slowed. Niko felt the world shrink to a single moment, a fraught space encapsulated by the eternal struggle of good against evil. In that instant, as everything converged, Cilia surged forth, projecting a wave of shimmering water infused with potent light. It slammed against Xaden's dark magic, creating a maelstrom of blinding luminosity on the deck. Shock waves rippled through the water, and the very fabric of their reality bent in response to the conflict. Niko stole a glance over his shoulder, witnesses a mesmerizing dance of light, dark and water crashing against one another. An enchantment unfurled amid the tumultuous battle, a surreal spectacle haunting yet breathtaking. In the heart of Aquaria Prime, just as dawn began to kiss the horizon, Niko and Cilia surveyed the damage left in the wake of their fierce battle. The whispers of the ocean blended seamlessly with the sounds of the world awakening, but there was no time to revel in their victory. The sight of fallen comrades and defeated foes served as a stark reminder that their fight was far from over. Niko's shirt was torn and stained, his side throbbing painfully where a blade had penetrated. It was a physical reminder of how close they had come to losing everything. He turned to Cilia, her azure skin now dimmed under the weight of what had transpired. "We must return to Kenya and confront Xaden. We can't allow him to threaten anyone else," she said, her voice steady but laced with a hint of trepidation. "Are you sure?" he asked, concern etched across his face. "You know he will come for you with everything he has." Cilia straightened, her resolve shining through the exhaustion. "Niko, it's not just about me. It's about the fate of my planet and every person who's suffered under Xaden's tyranny. We have to stand against him, together." With that, they embarked on a journey to gather allies, reaching out across the vast expanse of the cosmos. They visited distant colonies, seeking the support of those who had felt the sting of oppression. They found local leaders, individuals who had lost friends or family to Zayden's ruthless regime, offering hope and the promise of reclamation. "Join us," Cilia urged, her voice commanding yet compassionate. "Together, we can dismantle the chains of fear that bind our worlds." As they traveled, Niko and Cilia shared intimate moments beneath alien skies, their bond growing deeper with each passing day. They recounted tales of their past, unveiling dreams that had been stifled by conflict. Niko learned of Cilia's childhood in the shimmering towers of Cania, filled with laughter and light, a stark contrast to her present reality. "The stars were always my friends, watching over me," she reminisced, gazing up at the twinkling cosmos during a quiet night on Taros Magus, a planet known for its vibrant crystals. Each crystal resonated with harmonies of light, echoing the music of their souls. But then Zayden came, casting shadows over everything I loved. "Have you ever wished for anything?" Niko asked, his voice low and sincere. "To be free. To protect those I care for," Cilia answered, her gaze unwavering. In that moment, the distance between them lessened, as if the universe itself was drawing them closer. Niko's heart swelled with admiration. The journey unfolded in unexpected ways. They witnessed wonders beyond imagination, cities that floated amidst clouds of lavender mist, oceans teeming with glowing creatures that illuminated the night. Each experience solidified their purpose, burning brighter than the star that marked their destination. As they approached Cania, a sense of urgency enveloped them. Niko could feel the weight of expectation not just from Cilia but from the world itself. Every heartbeat, every breath whispered promises of resistance against the inevitability of despair. "We're almost there," he said, determination lacing his words. Cilia gave him a swift nod, her resolve clear. The grand spires of Cania loomed ahead, majestic yet somber. Smoke coiled into the sky, remnants of Zayden's forces reminding them of the battle they were soon to face. With allies gathered, Cilia felt a surge of energy coursing through her veins. Standing at the edge of the Citadel's territory, Niko rallied their forces. "We have faced the darkness before, and we will do so again. We are not just fighting for a crown, we are fighting for the future of every soul that longs for freedom." The crowd erupted in cheers, a chorus of hope filling the air. Laughter mingled with shouts of encouragement, knitting them together. The day of reckoning dawned as they stormed Zayden's stronghold, their hearts unyielding. Cilia led them through the obsidian gates, the air thick with tension, a palpable mix of dread and anticipation. No longer was she just a fugitive. She had transformed into a leader, commanding respect and loyalty from those behind her. Suddenly, they found themselves surrounded by Zayden's guards, his army a dark wave intent on quelling the uprising. But within that chaos, Niko saw a flicker of hope in Cilia's eyes that ignited his own spirit. "Stay close," he shouted, drawing his weapon, his voice steady despite the rattle of fear. Cilia, channeling her water manipulation, guided streams to thwart their attackers. "Push forwards," her voice rang out, a clarion call that spurred them on. Allies formed a barrier, holding the line as Niko and Cilia worked as one, battling through waves of adversaries. Every strike they made felt synchronized, an almost instinctual dance as they moved fluidly through the throng. Each foe they felt only reinforced their determination, fueled by the memory of every life affected by Zayden's cruelty. Finally, they pressed into the heart of the stronghold, the throne room, a cavernous space filled with shadows that writhed as though alive. The atmosphere was thick with malice, and yet their hearts beat in unison, a rhythm of rebellion that shook the very foundations of the kingdom. At the end of the grand hall, a figure emerged, cloaked in darkness, Zayden himself. His eyes gleamed with a sinister gleam, calculating and cold. "You dare defy me?" he spat, voice dripping with disdain. Cilia stepped forward, shoulders squared and gaze unwavering. "I do more than dare, Zayden. I rise to reclaim what is rightfully mine and to liberate my people from your tyranny." The clash of wills echoed through the chamber, reminiscent of ancient duels fought over far more than just power. Zayden's eyes narrowed, a cruel smile twisting his lips. "You think you can disrupt my reign? You are just a fleeting star, soon to be extinguished." That bold proclamation reverberated through the hall, a battle cry that ignited murmurs of dissent among Zayden's ranks. Niko felt the shift as his fellow allies, emboldened by Cilia's words, surged forward, ready to stand by her side. "We are not alone," he shouted, pushing his way next to her, fierce determination lighting his eyes. "Together, we can end this." With that rallying cry, the final clash erupted, a cacophony of sounds mixing with the pulse of their hearts. The clash of metal and the energy of elemental battles filled the air. They fought not just for Cilia's crown, but for the freedom and future of every inhabitant under Zayden's oppressive rule. As the battle raged, Cilia felt a deep connection to the very essence of her people and her world. Streams of water surged uncontrollably, bending to her will, taking down foes and wrapping around Zayden's dark energy, pushing back the shadows that had blighted her home for far too long. Through relentless effort and sacrifice, they pushed towards the remnants of Zayden's tyranny. Niko fought by Cilia's side, every movement instinctual, every heartbeat synchronized with the rhythms of battle. They were no longer just two individuals, they had become a force of nature, destined to rise from the ashes of despair. Finally, as the final competitors fell, Zayden faced them, realization dawning that his empire would crumble under the weight of their unity. "This is not over," he roared, rage morphing into vulnerability. "On the contrary," Cilia said, her voice steady and unwavering. "This is where our new dawn begins." Together, they encapsulated the spirit of their worlds, their victory more than just personal, an intricate tapestry woven from heartbreak, resilience, and hope. As the dust settled, the sun began to shine through the heavy clouds, illuminating the throne room with light, a symbol of fresh beginnings. The battle was won, but the questions lingered like shadows. The path ahead now stretched before them, promising challenges yet to come. Niko took Cilia's hand, his heart pounding with both relief and anticipation. "Whatever lies ahead, we face it together," he promised, eyes searching hers. Cilia smiled, sunlight dancing across her features, igniting the flames of hope within their hearts. Together, always. As they emerged from the depths of the stronghold, they were greeted with cheers, their allies rallying behind them as they stepped into the day that stretched before them. A new dawn awaited, filled with promises of justice, healing, and unity. Questions of the future danced in the air around them. What would they build from the remnants of despair? How would the hearts of the people mend after facing such darkness? But in that moment, they understood, every journey, every step taken was a testament to their resilience. Their story was only beginning, an epic woven from courage, love, and the undying belief that together, they could change the universe, one heart at a time. With the horizon beckoning, Niko and Cilia ventured forth, ready to embrace the unknown and shape their worlds anew. If you liked this story based on real events, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like it. Here you can dive into a different reality every day, where anything can happen. Comment below what kind of story you would like to hear here. Thank you very much for your attention. We are the Sci-Fi family.